Trap squad, 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 trap squad. Hey, clickbaity political. Yeah, thirst trap, trap squad, squirrel squad. Our mission is critical to speak the truth to the masses. Yeah. We here for the fight. We ain't started, but we here to finish it. Sick and tired of seeing the privilege. Take advantage of the weak and the innocent. So we let a voice be heard. Every single weeknight. Unapologetic. Black people, despite this white supremacist system that we live through on a daily, we still throwing up those acorns cause we represent clickbaity. Yeah. Trap squad, trap squad, trap squad, let me hear ya. Trap squad, trap squad, throw those squirrels up if you with it. Trap squad, trap squad, yeah I see you, yeah I see you. Trap squad, trap squad, trap squad, trap squad, trap squad, hey squad, let me hear ya. Trap squad, trap squad. Throw those squirrels up if you with it. Trap squad, trap squad. Yeah, I see you, yeah, I see you. Trap squad, trap squad. Trap squad, trap, trap squad, trap squad, trap squad.
What it do, what it do, what it do.
Hey, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, trap squatters all around the world. You are all the way live with Marcus Farrell and Pastor Benjamin Dixon. Welcome to another episode of Clickbaity, Political Thirst Trap, your weekly source for information and all things possible. First, I wanted to start this thing off by saying we want the whole Trap Squad Clickbaity family to send their prayers out and well wishes to MONDALE Robinson. Mayor MONDALE was in a serious car accident this weekend. Now, you wouldn't know it because he might be broken, but he's going to run his mouth all day long. So you might have seen him on Twitter, and you might have seen him on different venues. But MONDALE hurt himself pretty bad. Had to have an emergency surgery, but he will be back with us at some point because MONDALE does not like to not be a part of this right here. So send to everyone who's watching, please send him your prayers. Shout out to his family. I'm gonna try to get up there myself to go see him in person. You know, if you're watching Mayor MONDALE, I'm still in all your shine. So
listen, man, I would not have. I saw the letter from the city of Enfield where he's the mayor, and I was like, dang, I didn't know my brother got in an accident. But then immediately the next tweet I saw was him reading somebody for filth. I was like, I said, okay, well, he's okay.
Yeah.
And then by the time I got around to call, I didn't call him till like 2 days later. I said, oh, he was in an accident. He said he'd be okay. Got, good. But I prayed for him. And I called him and my man was still in the hospital. And then he started telling me all the injuries and stuff. I said, oh no, my brother got hurt for real.
Yeah, no, MONDALE is lucky to be alive. It was I'm not gonna go through all the injuries. But I'll leave that on him. But I will say that and it makes me, before we start tonight's show, it makes me want to say a point because I've been thinking about this. Life is too short to not be to not live, love, pray, love authentically, right?
Yeah.
And life is too short to not do what God has called you or the universe has called you to do. Life is just absolutely too short.
Absolutely.
And like, so don't be playing in folks' faces, right? Don't be playing in folks' faces. Don't be playing around with your emotions, your spirituality, your purpose, right? Be authentic, be true, be kind, and leave nobody with a thought process that you have not done your best, especially yourself, right? So that's all I had to say on that one right there.
Nah, man, MONDALE will give all the information that he wants to give, but it just really shook me in a not in a funny way, but in a this brother don't stop kind of way, because he was so active on social media, But then when I got a chance to speak with them, I was like, okay. And I got a chance to pray. I was glad to be able to reach out to him and connect with him. But he's a soldier, he's a fighter, and I know he's going to be back sooner rather than later. So we're just going to keep him in our thoughts and the prayers. And you're absolutely right, man. Life's too short to be playing games. With yourself, with your energy, with your time, with your calling, with anything that you got. Life is entirely too short, too fragile to be out here sweating all the foolishness that life tries to throw at you and then people try to throw at you. So shout out to you for that. And then also, brother, if I could just do a really hard shift, I didn't see, I made a joke when we came in about your hat, but I didn't see the high quality of your hat until just now, until we got you on the big screen. That's a nice hat, brother. God bless you.
Nothing I wear is cheap. You might not like the style, but nothing I wear is cheap. I like, and what I mean by that is not cost cheap, but
right.
I'm sorry, I'll go ahead and say it. I like nice shit. So
yeah.
I'm gonna rock that. Like
the trim.
About me. Yeah. Oh, you can say a lot about me, but the swag is 1,000, bro.
You got doc. The trim on the hat is killing me. Like I love that. That's fly. That's fly, man. That's fly.
Appreciate it. So listen, man. Another little announcement. Clickbaity Squad. I know we pissed y'all off, man, because we've gotten so many messages about our consistency and also our timeliness. So I'm gonna update this on the Clickbaity page. We will be rocking Tuesdays at 8 o'clock, and then we're figuring out a time on Saturdays where we can be consistent also. Yes. But we're not just gonna give you one show. We're starting to give you 2 shows a week, and you'll be able to see us. If all goes well, I'll be on vacation Saturday, but I still plan on being on the show, but I'll probably try my hardest to do it from a beach somewhere. Hey, listen, it's time. Marcus is going through a lot in the past couple months, so now it's time for me to go ahead and
celebrate you, man.
Yeah, man, I'm releasing my energy. I released all that negative energy, and I've come back. I've come back to where I needed to be, man, and it feels good. Listen. Let me tell y'all something. No cap. It feels good to see where you are and know where you're going and know the level that you're going and know the places that you plan on going, having a plan and beginning the process of execution. It's an awesome thing. So, I mean, it is what it is, family, Clickbaity family. Ben Dixon, man, we got a lot to discuss. I personally wanted to start off with this new sort of talking point. Hold on one second.
Wody Bobo is cutting up back there, boy. I hear.
Wody, sit your ass down.
Why you say that? Why you handle Wody? I do want to say this though. Clickbaity is right now in this season, the last couple of weeks, we've been a pop-up show. And you know what? I love the fact that we have people when we popped up. We got 274 people watching us right now across all the different platforms, and we didn't tell anybody we were going live. We just went. So shout out to you all for supporting us through this season. But I want to just say that, we're not going to be pop up forever, but the fact that we can pop up and we can deliver the content and you all are here to receive it, we got a really good thing going on here. And I'm really looking forward to when we really start soaring at the level that we're supposed to soar. So y'all hang in there. Bougie Barbie wants to know, just coming in, we gave an update. Brother MONDALE was in an accident. If you want to rewind and get, just the general conversation, we gave that at the top of the show, but he is recovering. It was a major accident. And so we're keeping him lifted up in thoughts and prayers. But he is recovering, and we're looking forward to him. It's going to be some weeks, I believe. It's going to be a little while, but we'll, I know as soon as he possibly can, if he can cut on that camera in the hospital room, he will, because he's been cutting on that cell phone. He been giving them hell on Twitter even while he's recovering. So shout out to you, MONDALE, if you watch, man. We love you, brother.
Yeah, shout out to the drip morphine too.
Yeah, the good stuff.
Hey, listen. Hey, I was hitting the button so much from my surgery 3 years ago that my blood pressure dropped below 80 over 40.
Wow.
They were stop pressing the button.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Hey, listen, black fatigue.
Oh man, you coming down my alley today, preacher?
Let me tell you something. So MAGA, racist, black coonery across the nation has decided to create this term called black fatigue.
Right.
Well, and let's keep it honest, right? Black fatigue is basically folks saying they are so tired of everything black, and then they like to point to the negative connotations and the stereotypes of the Black American community, from our music to how we wear our clothes, to how our sisters wear their hair, to how we dress, to how we speak, right? And it's amazing to me that there's not one aspect of any of these people who have said anything about black fatigue that they have not taken. Like, there's not one person that has said this that has not utilized black culture for their benefit when it's right. And this is all of them: white, black, MAGA. Come on, MAGA makes rap songs. MAGA, Trump had a really cool pair of gold shoes. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a sneakerhead. I was impressed, but I wouldn't get them. I didn't get them, but he even had his own Jordan-esque type shoe, right? Which, I mean, come on, that's a part of black culture that we created. The reason why I bring it up is because if there is such thing, and I posted this on my Twitter page, you can go to Marcus for America on Twitter and see this, and I've gotten a lot of responses from it, and you can see the trolls also. If there is such thing as black exhaustion, a black fatigue, then there's definitely white exhaustion. And imagine how the black and indigenous community feels about white folks right now. You want to talk about, because fatigue is one thing, but exhaustion is a whole nother level. And I want to go into that just real quick. You know what we're tired of? We are tired of toxic whiteness that appears in every single aspect of politics except black liberation theology. I am tired of whiteness being in control of the Democratic Party. I am tired of whiteness being used in police shootings. I am tired of whiteness being used to target black men across the nation. I'm just tired of it. Now, don't get me wrong. Am I tired of white people in general? No, man. There's a lot of white people I rock with. I would never do that. But what I am tired of is seeing coons who are highly paid off of getting theatrical responses from white folks because they can justify saying things about black folks because of the color of their skin. You, sir, and ladies are lame. Ben, now I'll pass it to you.
Yeah. Oh, you passed it to me right at the thick of it.
Listen.
What you see on your screen right now is the Legion of Coon. You got, and I'm really kind of shocked, not totally and thoroughly with Dr. Boyce Watkins, but it seems like since he's got some new teeth in his mouth, he's started his cooning on a whole nother level. This is the panel that we're looking at right here. The Black Fatigue panel being hosted by niggas. And I use that term because all of them are MAGA aligned. And all of last week, when that white woman, Shiloh Hendricks, called that little 5-year-old the N-word with a hard ER, every single one of these people got called a nigger in their timelines by white MAGA. Yet, instead of them recognizing and realizing the insidiousness and the danger that this moment that white supremacy poses to black people, what they do is they go out there and provide cover for these crackers. I'm just gonna call it what it is, say what it is. Y'all got to forgive me. I'm like, this is why, Marcus, I'll let you know I'm taking a 3-month sabbatical from the church starting in June. First Lady or Pastor Jada, she's stepping up. She's going to carry the mantle for the Lord and for worship and praise and everything in that season, because we got to go to war against these demons. Not just the white supremacist demons, but the Black Legion of Coon who supports them. Every one of these people you see on your screen, Jason Whitlock, he's a hungry coon. Dr. Boyce Watkins, I loved him in the past, worked with him in the past, but what are we doing, brother? Why are you out? And Anton, whatever Anton Daniels, you know, all of these people that you see on your screen make a living now attacking the Black community. Here's the thing, Marcus. They take the very worst of the Black community and they use that as the justification for them supporting the very worst of white supremacy. This is what makes these clowns so horrible. What makes them so horrible is the fact that they are doing the work of white supremacy, setting the stage for violence. Here's why I'm not going to edit myself tonight. I might not say any words further than nigga and cracker, but because there are a lot of white folks on Twitter right now who have gone beyond Black fatigue. It's not just Black fatigue right now. They have right now hashtag TND. Or they might not put a hashtag. You'll just see TND. Ask me what TND means. Total nigger death. They are talking genocidal language to Black people. And here these 5 members of the Legion of Coon are giving them cover while white folks are literally on Twitter plotting violence against Black folks. So for me, it goes well beyond just a disagreement in terms of what level of Blackness you're comfortable with. And, oh, I'm tired of seeing, you know, Black people be ratchet. I'm tired of seeing all this kind of stuff that they use as their gateway to making excuses for white supremacy, right? We're well beyond that, because we're at the stage where these folks are actively planning. They're calling it the Summer of Love 2.0. Their intention, and they've made it expressly clear, is to provoke Black people into a rage this summer so that they can use violence to kill as many of us as possible. That is on the books. We have analyzed it with artificial intelligence. We screened Twitter. We got all the screenshots. We know what they're planning. And here you got 5 people on the screen right now. Jason Whitlock and his hungry ass. Dr. Umar, I might as well say Umar, he might be in that too. Dr. Boyce Watkins and all the others who are on the screen. They're providing cover for white supremacy at a most dangerous time in American history. We don't have time for it, and we simply do not have time to coddle them or play around with it. I'm so glad. Thank you for bringing this up.
Listen, man, this is how it's going to work, and the catalyst of this will be Derek Chauvin being released from prison.
Mm-hmm.
I want you guys to just mark the words right now, tonight, whatever it is, the 19th or 18th or something of December, of May. That's going to be the catalyst, and we're going to be rightfully upset, and there will be protests, and this is where the vigilanteism will come out of some of these white folks who don't have a badge, don't have a gun. I mean, don't have a badge, but will be able to conduct civilian sweeps of areas. I'm just going to say this right here. This is not me, because I'm not scared. If it's my time to go, it's my time to go. Don't come messing with me. Don't come over here.
Mm-hmm.
Don't come messing with me. Don't come messing with my people. And it's not even about a race war. Righteousness is going to win in the end, and that's what you guys don't realize. Good always wins. I know that seems faux pas, BS, but Hitler had to escape Germany or got killed in a bunker, whichever theory that you believe. He lost, right? Strom Thurmond had to apologize. Your ex-partner is dealing with a trash piece of crap after leaving you. Goodness always wins over evil. It does. So with that being said, these folks can sort of gatekeep their racism for white folks as much as they possibly can, right? One thing that they don't seem to realize is that the resiliency of the Black American community is something that America has never experienced before. We are a resilient people, and we've had people trying to tear our movements down from the inside since we've been here, right? There was always Steven from Django that was in the house. There was always someone sneaking into our movements. There was always a Black guy who was working with the feds who was selling weed to the jazz musicians and then telling on them right after he sold the cannabis to them. There was always a way for some Black person to be ostracized and targeted by someone with the same skin color. And I'll be very interested in hearing what this brother right here has to say.
Yeah.
Let me hear what he has to say about it, because I still have my reservations about this right here.
So glad you're joining us. And so, Anton, since you're the rookie, I'm gonna let you answer the first question, and then everybody jump in. I will ask, because there's so many of us, that everyone try to
behind the scenes for an extended period of time now, and I don't know what's going on. Give me 1 second here.
Monday CRM has the best
good
AI
Lord.
features in the game.
Especially in sales.
Hands
I
down.
gotta get
So for me,
I gotta get a version of YouTube that ain't got these ads. There we go.
Yeah.
Black
There we go.
fatigue is the easy way for us to categorize it. I think that it's more or less about N-word fatigue. And I don't know, I'm not gonna go as incendiary as I would usually go on my own platform, but I think that it's N-word fatigue, because all cultures don't necessarily deal with everybody within their culture and then categorize or become responsible for everything within the culture, right? When you look at Asian culture, or you travel overseas, or you go to Japan, or you go to some of these other places, there are entire cities that are designated for the outcasts or for the people that can't participate in society, and for them to hold themselves accountable and to truly be able to do things that is conducive for the group as a whole. But we are one of the very few cultures, especially here in the United States of America, where we find ourselves somehow, some way having to patronize Black businesses that's not necessarily anybody that we would rock with, or we find out later that somebody is not doing what they're supposed to do, or somehow we're not invited to the barbecue if we don't find ourselves wearing bonnets at the airport, or when somebody is loud, we can't be very matter of fact and direct and holding ourselves accountable. We celebrate the most degenerate of our society, whether it be our music or the things that we really champion and make famous on social media. And the minute that we then
Okay, I want everybody to understand this right here. What this brother is saying is actually somewhat true. What I'm going to say in response.
Cap.
No, I mean, no. I'm being serious. Like, we can't just do a broad stroke of things, right? There's bad behavior that does get rewarded in America. Targeting the Black culture is not the way to go about it, though. Targeting Black people is not the way to go about it. My argument is very simple on this right here, because I want to make sure that I'm clear and I'm fair about what I truly believe on these things. When you say something about forced to utilize a Black business, I want to remind everyone that Black Americans didn't trust banks in the 1920s, 30s, and 40s. Black Americans didn't trust banks. So therefore, when the economy crashed, the first real true Black Monday, I believe, Black Americans had money. Not only did we have money, we did things like built our own cities. We were thriving, had our own planes, had our own cars, had our own economies. The Tulsa, Oklahomas of America, the Rosewoods of America, right? What happened with that? They were burned down. They were burned down by jealous white people. They were burned down. Now they've gotten us to the point where we're saying if we want to support our own and create our own economies and support our own economies, that's a bad thing. No, it's not bad. That's not a bad thing. That is a natural Black American thing that was wiped from our history. And in these conversations, I don't hear these people saying anything about Black exceptionalism. I don't hear these people saying anything about Jason Whitlock got his career off of bashing Black exceptional athletes. That's how he got famous. Once a monkey, always a monkey. And a monkey's going to screech and crawl and play around and dance for bananas. Right? This is a niche, folks. This is a niche. This is a whole entire niche of America right now that we're watching right here. I can't say everybody on this panel is negative or positive because I don't know. I don't know Boyce, but I think his financial insights for Black Americans are great. I'm not gonna lie. But when it comes down to the overall ethos of Jason Whitlock and him having Black fatigue, nigga, we're tired of you.
That toupee.
You personally, not all the Black people, right? And every culture has its ratchet side. If you want to look at the hillbillies and how they act up, we could do that all day. But I notice y'all don't say anything about them. If you want to look at the cholos, now I don't want to say cholos because that's the wrong way to say it. If you want to look at the ratchet Latinx people and the gangbanger violence and culture that some of them have, we can focus in on there. We can focus on every single universe and demographic of people in America and find out something negative about them and exploit it. You know why they're really talking about Black people, Ben?
Why is that?
Because everything Black people touch, whether bad or good, is amazing.
Turns into gold. It turns into gold for everybody but Black folks. Here's where why I said cap to what Anton was saying. Is because number one, nobody is asking you, Black man, to support anybody's Black business. Take your money to everybody white you want to take it to, because the white man's water and ice is always colder than everybody else's ice to you, right? The second thing is there is a degenerate culture that is the United States of America, that is the world population 2025. Degeneracy sells. That has been America for a very long time. And to turn that inward and to say, oh, it's unique to Black folks. And then even to go one step further, he says in other nations, they separate the degenerates and put them in another community. What he's saying is what he's not saying is he refuses to connect the fact that this country benefits and takes profit out of the Black community expressly because of that culture. They want that. They celebrate it. They have every one of these, everything that you see and you categorize as ratchet for Black folks, you're going to see a simulacrum in the white community. Every single thing that they complain about in Blackness, they turn around and do it in whiteness. They've been doing it since they complained and said the figure of a Black woman was something that was Jezebel, that was horrible, that you shouldn't have. And oh, we hate the Black woman's body. Now they all out there dying from butt lifts and injections in their butts. They hated the Black lips. What do they turn around and do? And they inject their lips so that they can get Black lips. Every aspect that they call ratchet about Blackness is something that they not only replicate, but they monetize. And then they continue to exploit the Black community. Here's the thing, though. None of those resources come back to the Black community. The exploitation that happens to Blackness is a constant and persistent drain of resources from Blackness. Here's the other thing. Not only is it, number one, a degenerate culture all the way around society. Number two, they're profiting off of the degenerate culture in Blackness because they monetize it and they do it themselves. But number three, let's just get right down to it. At the end of the day, it's not even about the fact that we have
people in the black community that you could call ratchet or problematic. The truth of the matter is that these 5 people on this panel are giving cover to the most violent breed of white supremacists, ignorant as well, but that we have seen in generations. And so whatever the problem is in the black community, for you all to go step and fetch and bring and fetch the water for Massa at the same time Massa is out here talking about killing us, y'all have never, this has always been a thread throughout black history. There has always been a subset of black people who hate black people because they believe whiteness was better. This is who you have on this panel. And I say this about every single one of them because for them to get on this panel, and we'll listen to more, but for them to get on this panel, first of all, with Jason Whitlock and his hungry ass, right? To support that man who has made his career. You're absolutely right. It's definitely a niche. It's like a what's the word I'm looking for? It's a business model. Quite honestly, if I just cut it to it, it's a business model. There has always been a successful business model for people who are willing to say about black people what white folks weren't comfortable saying. But here's the rub, and I'll throw it back to you, man. We're living in a time where they're not stopping. They don't need this panel to say it anymore because they're bold with it. They're brave with it. They really think that they have the authority to go around and just and insult black people any way that they want to. And actually, I said that was the last thing, but I got to say one more thing with regards to their plan, which is to absolutely they're not going to be able to pardon Derek Chauvin, not on the state level. He's going to remain in jail. He had federal charges. Perhaps somebody gets him whatever the status of those federal charges may be, but he's never going to leave jail because he has these state level charges that he's been found guilty for. But what they're trying to do is provoke us. They're trying to provoke us into violence, into not even violence. If we even so much as gather together in a significant number, they're going to immediately call it violence. Did you see what they just did to the Newark, New Jersey mayor, where they made it look like something Baraka? Yes, Mayor Baraka. Like he did something violent, and he had the video showing that he was actually invited in. It doesn't matter the truth of the situation. These white supremacist Christian nationalist devils are creating and crafting an opportunity to execute violence on us. And so when you see little simple-minded Negroes, like you see these 5 on this screen, doing the bidding of them and carrying the water for them, we got to call them what they are. They're the Legion of Coon, and we got to govern ourselves accordingly.
You know, I agree, Ben. I agree. Hey, folks, if you're a Black American right now, I need y'all to have some thick skin for what the next 3 to 8 years is going to happen. It's going to happen, right? Because we're going to get into this in a second, because I don't believe the Democratic Party is going to be able to stop the Republicans, especially with the moves that they're making. We can get into the David Hogg debacle that's going on. They need better PR. So I need y'all to have thick skin. Bring us up real quick, Ben. Just me and you.
Okay.
I need Black America to have, I need Black Americans to have thick skin right now. Because I noticed, and please, if you're not following Clickbaity Political Thirst Trap, please go follow him. If you're not following Marcus Farrell Live, please go follow. If you're not following us on social media, Pastor Ben on Twitter and Marcus for America on Twitter. But y'all can go to my page real quick and just take a look. I want everybody like if you have a dual screen or you got a phone, keep watching this show. But take a look at my Twitter page right now. I talk a little bit about all the weddings. It's drunk, sexy wedding, drunk, sexy Uncle Week wedding summer for me. Like that's what I'm doing. I done got invited to a whole bunch of them, plus a lot of plus ones. So I ain't taking nobody. But if somebody wants to roll up with Marcus to a couple of things, got things going on. Either here or there. I want y'all to go and look at the post where I made about this exact same topic. And I want you to look at the massive amounts of white trolls that are freely saying, and I mean, you know, back in the day, maybe 1 or 2 of them will pop up on my little tweets. But you know, I get a little mini viral tweet with a couple hundred people that actually retweet it or like it and stuff like that. And I have never seen the massive amounts of trolls, right? And I think they do have a troll farm. I do think that these folks are not real. I do think that these folks aren't who they say they are. But I need y'all, especially if you're doing work online, because see, I'm gonna tell you something. They're not gonna do it to you in person. They're scared. They're scared. They don't want to do the daily microaggressions. They can't do that. They're not going to do the daily microaggressions. But yeah, there you go, Ben. Just take a look. And by the way, while you're there, follow me. Thanks. Just take a look at what they do, what they've said, right? The massive amount of words that have came out that normally folks would have been a little bit afraid to say. This happened in the past 24 hours, right? Right? So, you know, this happened in the past 24 hours, right? And the reason why I bring this up is because I need Black Americans to have thick skin, and I need real white Americans who are allies to come to our defense, more than just come to our defense, call these folks out. We are at war right now. We're at war with fascism, and we're at war with a racism that probably trumps Native Americans. I mean, trumps the Nazi regime when it comes down to the strategic implementation of online, because we've never seen this before. We've never seen online harassment. And if you guys get mad at every single thing that's going to be said to you, we'll be arguing all day. I got to do other things in my life. I got a couple businesses that I'm running and a new one that I just launched. And I don't have time to spend all day arguing with folks. But you have to have thick skin, because they're going to say what they can. They're probably going to try to dox you. They're probably going to try to do everything possible to make sure that your life is terrible, right? Because this is what they want to do. They want to put us in a negative. They want to put us in a negative mindset. And what I say about that?
Mm-hmm.
What do I say about a negative mindset?
Not this
There
year.
are some humans who look just like you. You might be laying next to one of them that want you in a negative mindset, so you won't fulfill and accomplish everything that you need to accomplish.
Preach, brother.
Be a successful human being. They want your energy to be down because they got childhood issues, or they got racism issues, or that Black girl or Black boy, when they were in 12th grade, took their girlfriend or boyfriend, or they got clowned by the girl they really liked because he was a nerd and he was a weirdo back then. These guys are weirdos. Now, with that being said, the Black folks that are pushing this talking point are opening the floodgates to make this okay.
That's right. That's right.
And the solidarity between our community is absolutely not there. You are not my brother, Jason Whitlock.
Not at all.
You are not my ally. Matter of fact, I haven't heard you say a positive thing about Black Americans in the past. Besides maybe a great football performance when you were sportscasting. After that, everything that you've said about Black America has been negative.
I think I may have heard him say something positive about some macaroni and cheese one time. That's about the only thing Black I've ever heard him say something positive about.
What in the niggerism is that?
What's macaroni and cheese? Anyway, it's you the point is this: Jason Whitlock has always had it out for the Black community. He hates Black people more than Steven from Django, right? He absolutely has an agenda and has had one for some time with that toupee. I'm glad he finally realized that he needed to dye the toupee to look gray, right? Because when he had that, remember when he first got that toupee and it was jet black, it was like, come on, brother, you know that's like you trying to put on a swimsuit, man. Come on, listen, you're not fooling nobody. But he has always had this deep-seated hatred, whatever the source is. I don't really care what the source is. I don't care who did what to him in the Black community. When we have active Judases at this level, and it's why I don't think it's a time for mincing words. It's not a time for mercy. It's not a time for, oh, well, you know, let's give them space to do. I did that for years. I did that for years with Boyce Watkins. I kept my mouth shut about Boyce Watkins for many, many years because, one, it wasn't like it is now, right? He hasn't always been this guy who will launder white supremacy. This is something that he probably was in him for some time, but he started to master it, especially with the rise of Trump the first time and then most certainly the second time. But the truth of the matter is we can no longer afford to give these people space. Those folks, first of all, nobody speaks for the Black community, but those individuals are speaking to ensure that there is no such thing as a Black community. They are speaking with the intention of neutralizing the ability of Black people to have a collective identity. When the fact of the matter is in the United States of America, and quite honestly, throughout the diaspora, we have, let me put those clowns back on the screen because I want people to remember who we talking about as we talking about. And it's not just them, but this is the easiest to find, the most recent. These people are actively working to ensure that there is no possibility of Blackness and Black community in the United States of America. They want us to believe that we're all by ourselves. They want us to believe that there's nothing that connects us and nothing that binds us. And that is quite literally one of the first tools of a fascist, is to erase your identity, to erase the connectivity. And here we have 5 Black people on the screen who are actively doing that role and trying to divide us. And here's the thing. You mentioned Dr. Boyce Watkins and his financial advice, which he's been doing some time, and he's good at financial advice. But capitalism doesn't need, and quite honestly, capitalism doesn't want a collective Black identity. And so all of these people are actively working against the very possibility of Black solidarity. These are some of the same people you're going to see them turn around and attack the Black diaspora. Not Dr. Watkins so much, but I don't know. Maybe he's changed on that. He used to be really big on the Black diaspora, but they're changing on that now because they need to divide and conquer. And
no, because they need a paycheck.
Well, they need to. Well, I was getting to that. That was my next sentence.
Oh, my bad.
They're doing no. You led right to it. Because white supremacy needs us to be divided and conquered. They have historically given the top dollar, the biggest paychecks to Negroes like these 5 that you see on the screen, because they can do it better than white people could ever do it.
You know, Ben, not only are you right, and we can get back to this if you want to, but you know, MAGA sucks. Racism sucks. I never want, somebody said, have thick skin and what? Have thick skin and get ready to fight, sis.
That's right.
Have thick skin and attack back. Have thick skin and become a part of the civics culture and be a part of the civics culture. Have thick skin and run for office.
Yeah.
Have thick skin and run for office. But Ben, oh man, early 2025 market's returning here. And
as it should. Oh, let me take them down. Let's go to that story. Come on, man. Let the Lord lead you.
So how can I keep saying things about Republicans when the Democrats, my lighting is horrible in here. My studio is going to be done real soon. How can we keep speaking about Republicans in MAGA and we have, but then we have no alternative to lead them to in a healthy way? I don't know if you folks saw it, but Malcolm Kenyatta and David Hogg are both vice chairs and the second vice chair, respectively, for the Democratic National Committee. And because of David's absolute refusal to not challenge do-nothing Democrats, they want to get him out. They want to get Malcolm Kenyatta out. Now, understand something. They might not be progressives like you guys like. Whether you like Democrats, Republicans, Independents, or whatever you are on, These guys are probably the more progressive leaning Democrats that are that have power and have a vote in the DNC. And instead of giving them a fair election and let them do what they want to do, they want to vote them out. They want to take them out. And when I tell you Democrats are trash, they're trash. And when I tell you that the people that lead this party right now, you know, I saw a tweet. I saw a post actually, and I went deep into it and started reading articles behind it. And the post was about how Republicans like oligarchs and Democrats like corporations. And right now, Republicans won, therefore the oligarchs are winning. Versus the Democrats, who were very big fans of corporations. Now, Benjamin Dixon, I'm going to ask you one question, Pastor. Where the fuck do we lie in this?
Who, black folks or regular folks? All of
people.
It. We lie at
humans.
the bottom. At the bottom of that.
We're not represented by the Democrats. We're not represented by the Republicans. The Republicans will kill us fast. The Democrats will bleed us slow. And there's nothing for us to lean on when it comes down to our issues. Tell me I'm wrong. They spent more time arguing with David Hogg than they have fighting against Trump.
Yeah.
They had more time saying, I want to be able to do more of nothing. And matter of fact, if anybody who wants to do something,
we're gonna put you out.
We're gonna kick you out. So tell me why at this point am I going to support a party that, even with Trump, I am going to support a party that is not only setting itself up to not do anything, but they're setting themselves up to lose to Trump again.
Yeah.
And whoever replaces him, and Republicans for the next 30, 40 years. How can I support that and be an activist? I can't.
So here's, I think I agree with you probably 99%. Here's the only 1%. Let me start with the 1% I disagree with you. The Democrats, I don't think it's a 1% difference between us tonight, brother. I can't even, let me take these cats down. I don't think that there's a 1% difference. And you and I, we had it out a couple weeks ago. So we don't see eye to eye on the principle here. The principle here is that there's a difference between the two parties. And we've had that disagreement, right? But tonight, it ain't even about that. Tonight, what it is that we're dealing with a party that has spent more energy. And I want to play this clip because I really want to hear what Malcolm says about this, Kenyatta says about this. But they have done more to oust David Hogg than they have organized resistance to the threat that we're facing right now. Now, here's the thing that I might disagree with you on if there was that 1%. It's the fact that whether or not do I want to put energy into even worrying about the Democrats right now. Because to me, the more divided that we are, the more quickly we're going to fall to MAGA's fascism. But at the same time, we got to run a simultaneous play because the Democrats have put more energy into ousting David Hogg than they have organized resistance to Donald Trump, which means who's fighting for us? Who's fighting against the fascism? Who's taking the charge? Look what they did to Al Green. You had 10 Democrats vote to censure Al Green. And then you turn around and had 10 Democrats who voted for cloture on the debate that led to the funding for, I forgot exactly, the continued resolution, right? You have Democrats who immediately went to support Donald Trump. And beyond that, you still have Democrats who are voting to confirm Donald Trump appointees. Folks, it's one thing for us to disagree during primaries. Okay. And it's one thing for us to disagree with the corporatism of the Democratic Party versus the progressive wing of the Democratic Party, and we be at loggerheads. Okay, I can kind of survive those arguments. We can live in that kind of tension. I think that tension is healthy. But for you to put more energy in getting rid of David Hogg than you are trying to get rid of Donald Trump, that tells me that you're not just feckless, you're complicit. You are complicit with the demise of this country at the most critical juncture of American history. So I got nothing. I don't have nothing I can disagree with you on tonight, man. Because when I saw that, it's crazy.
Everything, Ben, everything that I've been saying from December to now, they're proving me right. And I'm tired of beating a dead drum. You know what I'm concerned about?
What's that?
I'm concerned that once Trump releases Derek Chauvin from prison with a presidential pardon, I'm concerned that the Democratic Party is going to go Al Green on the black people in the streets.
Absolutely. Oh, no, brother. If we get down to it, let me interrupt you. I'm sorry. If we get down to it, there is a thread in the Democratic Party. You want to know what thread it is? It's called for the whiz. For what it is. It's the thread of folks who are funded by AIPAC. Black, white, Hispanic, Jewish, all of them. There is a contingency there. That there's a clip, and if I had Dr. Mack played it for me one time, I never believe what I heard, man. They began to identify the black community as much a threat to Jewish people as Hamas. It was one sister. It was one.
The white lady, yeah. And she said,
you saw that clip, right?
She said it was not black community. It was the black youth.
Brother, there is a thread in the Democratic Party that will actively participate in the destruction of the black community, full stop. And if we can't call it for what it is right now, then what good are we? What good are we?
Well,
right?
Well, here's my thing. How can we share a party with that?
But see, here's my thing too. Right now, we are far enough away. We got to get through this summer. We got to get through this summer and let me make it's a slight correction. Donald Trump may get him off of his federal charges and pardon him up, because I don't even remember the exact federal charges that he's under right now. I got to look that up. But that's as far as Donald Trump could possibly reach, is those federal charges. Derek Chauvin is not leaving state prison unless the governor pardons him there in the state of Minnesota. That said, at the end of the day, that isn't stopping them from trying to create that level of violence this summer. They are actively trying to do that. And so I don't even feel like, I don't even feel like my energy should be going to that conversation. Let the Democrats do whatever the Democrats are going to do. They've already made up their mind and shown us that's what they're going to do. We got to organize power outside of them. And when I say power, I mean power that is able to move these kinds of decisions, because so long as we are at the mercy of the Democratic Party, we are going to always find ourselves looking like, where is the power to actually stand up for us, for the working class, for black people? And we always see that power has been monetized by the corporate wing of the Democratic Party.
Listen, there's a lot of viewers, not as many from the Clickbaity channel, a couple of them from the Benjamin Dixon channel. By the way, I love all y'all. No matter what y'all be saying about me, I love y'all.
Nobody say nothing about you, boy. Go ahead.
You're crazy as hell. You better look through your comments. That Marcus guy is that guy.
Oh man, stay at the comments, man.
Them your people, man.
Most of them don't even on my channel. Look, man, I'm about to eat some food on air. Let me stop. That was the blackest thing I've done.
Go ahead, feel free to eat. What I'm about to say is very real. As an organizer and as a person who's worked on every single level of politics, and I'm one of the few people in America who can say that. I've worked on every level, right? There's a lot of people came in on the federal level. There's a lot of people came on the state level. I worked from janitor, from dog catcher all the way up to presidential. What I'll say is this. I can't just skip over the next 6 months and expect to win a presidential campaign. the moves they're making right now are going to absolutely affect the turnout for the midterms. The moves that they're making right now are absolutely going to affect the presidential race. They're setting it up so that there is no, by what folks don't understand is they're setting this conversation up with David Hogg and Kenyatta, right? They're setting these two conversations up, and they're doing this to them so there won't be any adverse pathway for a neoliberal to come in. And if a neoliberal comes in, or a moderate comes in, or whatever the hell you want to call it, a do-nothing Democrat comes in, then guess what's going to happen? They're not going to motivate the base because they're not going to be willing to see and say what they're not going to be willing to see, say, and do what is necessary to win an election. Even if they are lying and willing and just want to lie and say they're going to do some progressive things just so they can get the Republican out of office. They're not going to be willing to do that. You understand what I'm saying? Because this is not how they operate, right? So you have to miss me. Like, folks have to miss me when they're like, why are you always complaining about the Democratic Party? Because, and it's too early for that. We got to fight MAGA. Bruh, if we can't fight within ourselves and get it right now, then we're not going to beat MAGA. We're not going to.
I'm going to be, I agree with you, but I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not, let me say, you're right to have what you say and what you feel and what I'm not saying I'm not trying to change your mind. I'm just going to offer my mind. My mind is the imminent threat that Black people are facing because of MAGA aligned white supremacists. That's the only thing that's on my mind right now. Second thing that's on my mind is organizing Black power, not only to stop those crackers, but also to put pressure on the Democratic Party. And the third thing I want to add on, it's not just the AIPAC wing of the Democratic Party that we got to watch out for. It's the Woodrow Wilson Democrats. It's the Woodrow Wilson liberals, those liberals who like institutions, they like democracy. It's those liberals who like global, like the League of Nations, the United Nations, they like that. But you know what else they also like? They like the Klan, they like racism, they like white supremacy, and they hate Black folks. There's plenty of those type of folks in the Democratic Party. Destiny is one of them, one of their favorite people. And so there's an entire power structure that is at the core of the Democratic Party that is just resetting. They didn't get destroyed by MAGA, right? They're getting more funding now because of MAGA. And there are all people right now who are not aligned with the best interests of Black folks. Last thing, and I actually want to get your opinion on it, and I want to play what Malcolm Kenyatta is saying. It's those Black folks, here we go again. Black folks, y'all know I love you. I love Black folks no matter who they are, unless you like Candace Owens and big man with the toupee. I can't think of his name. We just talked about him. Jason Whitlock. I love Black folks, but when y'all use Blackness to give cover to do nothing Negroes like Jim Clyburn, when y'all use, because how many times we covered it? How many times have we seen Jim Clyburn jump in? Forget about elections. Forget about the elections. He has actively jumped in to tell us what we don't need, to tell us that we didn't need our student loans forgiven, to tell us that we didn't need this particular policy. And we use Blackness to cover this wing of the Democratic Party. As much as I like to hold my peace and not go to war with Black folks, especially Black folks who are so closely aligned, and Black people who I love my brother Bakari Sellers. I love my brother Michael Harriet. I love those brothers. But when y'all are using Blackness to cover this mess in the Democratic Party, y'all gonna turn me real fast in a hurry back to the 2015 Ben Dixon, who got blocked by Joyanne Reed because I had to call them out for that all the way back then.
Go ahead and get blocked, bro.
I feel like it's about to happen, Doc.
Yeah, I mean, because like, let me before we run this clip, I do have some thoughts about what you just said. I just want, this is for you personally, right? This is not like, I want you to just make the math, do the equation all the way through, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you want Black people to organize properly. You want to make sure that you stop the immediate threat of what MAGA is trying to do, right? Mm-hmm. You want to stop these enablers from having power, right? Mm-hmm. The answer to that is either a Democratic Party or a functional organization that supports a Black movement, right? And supports candidates that will reverse the tide, reverse the course of what MAGA has done throughout having elections during the midterms and change the ethos of the country when the next presidential election happens, so they can win. That has like because the lawmaker is the end all be all, right? The lawmaker is the end all be all. If the party is the way it is right now, the lawmaker is not going to be a Democratic lawmaker. It's not going to be somebody that's going to be on our side. It's not going to be somebody within the party that comes and can actually speak to the issues of our community. The equation has to have the equal sign, and that equal sign is elected officials that actually represent us. That equal sign, at the end of the day, in order to have the right protection mechanisms, we need to have a president that when a Supreme Court justice dies, or when it's time to appoint federal judges, they're going to have federal judges that actually are all across the country that are not supporting MAGA. Like, we're going to have a president that nominates someone that gives a damn about the black and brown community, right? That's for protection mechanisms, because they're coming after the Constitution. In order for that to happen, we have to win an election. So like the commenter said, we're going to have to walk and chew gum at the same time, or this ain't going to work. It's just not going to work. I'm saying this like for real. I'm talking to you, and not even a negative man. I'm talking to you.
No,
I'm
you understand what I'm saying? I'm receiving it all in. I'm listening.
Yeah, like we have to have elected officials. We won't have elected officials if the Democratic Party is playing the game that they're playing right now. At the end of the day, we have to win elections so we can actually wield power.
True, with one exception. We're at a different inflection point. Let me take them down for a minute. We'll bring them back up in a second because I want to hear this conversation. We're at a different inflection point. We're in an inflection point where MAGA is actively organizing themselves to start arresting Democrats. It's very possible that we're going to be entering into a season where elections don't even matter anymore because Democrats have fumbled the ball so many times to allow Donald Trump get into the position that he's already in. This is an existential crisis for the Democratic Party as well. But they don't realize it yet. It's like the Guns of August, the book that talks about World War I and why it was so bloody. It was because World War I, they were fighting World War I with new technology, using the new weapons, using old mentality, where you line up your troops. Like in Civil War, you lined up your troops and everybody shot, Well, World War I brought the advent of the first machine gun in war. And so what's happening right now with Democrats is that they're operating like it's 2012, when in fact MAGA is launching fascistic machine guns and nuclear weapons at them every single day. And so I don't even believe, the truth is, I don't think that we can even look to a party. I don't think that we can look to this structure at all. I'm not saying that we lay down and don't do anything about the political system and give up on electoral politics. I think we play the cards the best that we can. And I hear your calculus, so I don't disagree with your calculus. But I just say that I think the old order is coming to a close. It's coming to a close because you're dealing with Democrats who don't even realize that they're dead already, that they are the walking dead politically, and that they are really in line to be arrested, right? They're not calling just for the impeachment of Democrats. They're calling for the arrest of Democrats. And now you got Tom Homan and the Homeland Security talking about executing those arrested Democrats. You got Donald Trump floating the idea of arresting Democrats. So to me, it's like that party, and this whole party system, we got to organize outside of it to preserve ourselves in a hostile political order, a hostile legal order, a hostile system that is completely different than anything that I think we've ever faced before.
You need to tell me how organizing outside of the system is going to create electoral wins, because at the end of the day, a lawmaker's a lawmaker. Like I'm thinking about the holy trinity of politics: the electoral, the judicial, and the I'm thinking along those lines right now, right? In the executive position, right? If the executive branch is already taken, we have a keen opportunity in about a year and 6 months.
Yeah.
To take back the House. which could also like create certain boundaries for the Republican administration, right? When you say organize outside the system, this is coming from a brother who loves to do things outside of anybody's system, right? How is that going to produce electoral wins for us to get what needs to be done? The disappointment for me when it comes down to what the Democratic Party is doing, the disappointment for me is the fact that they are creating an environment where nobody wants to fuck with them.
No, we agree there 1,000%, right? Why should all the layers of this conversation, because I got to get to the black folks who are providing black cover for neoliberal politics. Got to get to that. So let's not forget that. But why would anybody want to F with the Democrats Party right now? They don't. They have an approval rating of what? 5%? No, it's like 30, like 29%, but it's ridiculously low. And that shows and answers your question. Nobody wants to rock with the Democratic Party right now. Why would they when they're showing themselves to be extremely feckless? And when I say organize outside the system, I want you to take a look at all of the major players who are on the national stage that are leading the resistance that are not the Democratic Party, right? You got Mark Elias and what he's doing over there with Democracy Docket. You have, you know, I got my eye on these fellas. I love what they did as an organization, but I don't know their true intent and their true heart. Midas Touch, what they're doing over there and how they're organizing power. They're organizing it through media. But ultimately what I'm saying is black folks, and this is why it goes right back to what we're talking about with Jason Whitlock and all those black people who are doing the black fatigue thing. They're trying to neutralize the ability of black folks to have community. And with community and identity comes connection. And and I know you know this much more better than I do, right? To be able to canvas and to be able to consolidate that black community in a CRM, in a database, and to communicate with one another on a massive scale, that's power. That's not power that's unattainable. That's power that's pretty much attainable with a few $1 million. Like when I say few, I'm talking about maybe, you know, 20, 30, $40 million to be able to canvas enough black folks to create that kind of structure. But at the end of the day, it's feasible, it's possible, and I think it's necessary because we've already identified very clearly the Democratic Party is more interested in maintaining power than doing what is necessary to provide protection for their own constituents right now.
I don't disagree with you. I want to see that clip.
Yeah, let's see what this man say, because from what I'm understanding, and it's on commercial right now, I'm so tired. I need to get that premium. Here we go. I want to go back to it because from what I understand, and it's long, we'll pause and play it. But I think we need to get the whole context for it so we can be properly upset about the right thing. Y'all forgive me. I'm producing at the same time I am talking. Here we go.
Kind of, we don't know because of this challenge. Hogg says it's all about trying to knock him out and his efforts to reform the party, and he's kind of a victim in all this, or implies that. I know you have some thoughts on that. Please share them with me.
So first of all, I'm happy to be with you, but with you on the silliest of topics. I know that there are folks at home right now who are asking, genuinely asking, you know, down the street from where we are, Republicans are cutting Medicare, Medicaid, are putting us in a position where the modern day social safety net is going to be shredded, all so that they can make room to fund tax breaks for billionaires and millionaires across this country. That's what we should be talking about. But if we are going to talk about internal Democratic Party nonsense, we have to at least do it honestly. And the problem I have, and I talked about it online, and we'll talk about it in some detail today, is that David has such a casual relationship with the truth. He understands, like I understand, that this complaint about the procedural mechanisms of the election was filed back in February. The only reason it's being heard now is because of the due process standards that we have within the Democratic Party, where the person who filed the complaint gets an opportunity to put forward evidence, to put forward her claim. We then get 30 days to respond to her. Then there has to have a meeting set up. And so when I saw David's statement aligning this with this myth that he has been the target of, you know, some Democratic Party smear campaign against him, it really frustrated me. And I was in a position where, as much as I don't want to lean into, feed into Democrat versus Democrat, nonsense when we have very serious things happening in the country, I cannot allow him to continue to go out and say things that he knows not to be the truth. And so to put out a statement like the one he put out when he received information about this challenge well before he made any announcement about Leaders We Deserve is to say to all these people who are listening to him and looking to him to be a voice of honesty in this moment, people have to question that. He's not telling the truth. And I'm going to be here today, unfortunately, to correct that record.
How do you evaluate David's sentiment that he should use money, and it's within his right to use money from donors to target what he calls asleep at the wheel House Democrats, meaning those who are not as engaged in the fight along some of the lines you just referred to as they should be?
Listen, the Democratic Party needs to change in a big way. That's why I ran, okay? I did not run because I thought everything was going great. I ran because I thought that there were big things that we have to change. But I think for the Democratic Party to change and to be a party that is strong enough to meet this moment, the way we accomplish that is not by 9 people who are elected to lead the DNC trying to dictate the outcomes of our primaries. The way we build a strong Democratic Party that can meet this moment is by doing the unglamorous work that I've been doing now for over 100 days, making sure we have the technological and the human talent to power a DNC that can reach voters wherever they are. And it also means we have to unify our party. Obviously, we're not there right now. Unfortunately, that's why we're having this conversation. And the noise of the internal bickering among Democrats has become so loud that we are not listening to the American people. I've been across this country listening to the American people, and this is what they want us to do. They want us to talk about what I think is the unifying message of the Democratic Party. They want us to talk about how we're going to make their life better. When people ask, what are the Democrats?
Go for it.
What you doing all over the country?
Come on, oh man. I don't. It could be, man. You know.
I'm just joking.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just joking. Listen, Malcolm has a fair point about the structure of the Democratic Party, but I think David's point is the ethos, right? While Malcolm speaks about how he knows something is factually not true, at the end of the day, Malcolm should acknowledge that David then started some ruckus within the Democratic Party, and this whole thing is about vindication and revenge against this kid for actually saying something against House Democrats. We need to keep it real. That's the only thing I'm gonna say. He needs to keep it real. He might be right about how it went down, but David really is making noise because they shady. They shady as hell. And this is the first person who's been elected in a very long time to actually say, hey man, y'all shady.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I'm just looking at the particular details about it. So Ken Martin was elected, he's a chair, right? So the complaint is that that there's not sufficient gender representation. And so it's coming down on the vice chair positions, and that's why they're considering ousting them. I don't know that I have too much to say about the nuance of their justification of this. But what I will say is the fact that it has been made clear in these first 100 days of their tenure that the Democratic Party is so opposed to the very ideas that both Malcolm and David were bringing forth, that I get it. I get it, Malcolm. You're talking from the standpoint of integrity of the root cause, and you're tracing it back to the root cause. So I'm not going to knock you for that. But I will honestly say, though, brother, that root cause
whether it's executed or not, that the young lady who, or I'm sorry, I don't know if she identifies as a woman or not, but her name Kaylin Free, I believe. The truth of the matter is that whatever ideas she brings in, if she gets this and whoever, they get another new election and somebody else replaces it, the progressive ideas are going to be assassinated. They are going to be thoroughly destroyed in the public eye, just like the ideas that you and David were bringing. I get the nuance of being precise. I get it. And I'm a man of integrity. So I'm not going to, I'm not going to brush that aside in this particular clip. But I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. I'm also not gonna sit around and lament and be worried about it and be like, oh, it's David is imprecise in his language. All right, David, be more precise in your language. Make this about what it truly is, though. At the end of the day, the Democratic Party has spent more energy trying to keep you from doing what needs to be done with the Democratic Party.
Hey man,
that has been clear. Go ahead.
He made a statement that basically sort of he's trying to cover his. You see, that's CYA. He's trying to cover his ass, right?
Yeah.
Like, because at the end of the day, and it's unfortunate because at the end of the day, as soon as he starts talking policy within the Democratic Party and what he wants to see from candidates, they gonna throw him under the bus just like they threw David under the bus.
That part.
So it really doesn't even matter, right? Like
that's the part.
You're trying to save face while these folks are like, yeah, you can say
we still want you out of here.
We still want your ass out of here too, bro.
Yeah.
Because it's not about this. That's why I said, like, why are you wasting your time with that statement, man? Like, why are you wasting your time?
That's the part.
And here's my thing. To everybody who's watching, to everybody who's been alive since 2016 and saw what happened with Bernie Sanders at the convention, and saw what happened, even though if we saw what the internal politics, and I'm talking about up and down from local elections all the way, well, not as much local. I will give local Democrats props. They tend to be a lot more progressive. But when you get to that certain level of Democratic politics, it becomes nothing but politics internally. And who wants to play that when they're not even playing anything for us, right? Who wants to play that? Like, who I want to talk about reparations and like not deporting innocent Americans. I want to talk about like not killing kids in the Gaza Strip. I want to talk about
too many Democrats who support that.
Right. And you can't tell me that the majority of Democrats support that. You can't tell me 70% of Democrats support that. You can't tell me that 40% of Democrats support the war in Israel. I mean, the bombing of Israelis. I mean, of Palestinians. You can't tell me that. I like to see stats, but I don't think it is. So they're not representing us. They're representing a financial interest. Again, and anybody who wants anything from that. Like, I wonder if has anybody out there seen Trap Squad, help me out. Has anybody out there seen any of the chairs of the Democratic Party, whether it's first chair, second chair, I believe they have third chair. Anybody seen anything, a statement about the situation in Palestine? Has anybody publicly came out against it? That's an elected official within the Democratic Party. I'm interested to know that. I can find out myself, but we can definitely find out. You can continue.
Nah, man, I'm trying to figure out what that is. I think you summarized it quite well. It's the CYA that Malcolm is doing, and he's dotting his I's and he's crossing his T's. I get it. I get it from an integrity perspective. I get it, but it's almost like, what even is the point? What even is the point expending energy on that? It's a thing to say, oh, I see you, David. I see you, David Hogg. I see you flipping this and spinning this like a political operative would do, right? And I'm not going to tell anybody to go out here and flip on your integrity, because I don't do it, right? In my I don't know how many years I've been doing this, 11, 12 years of doing this. I have never had to make a disingenuous argument in order to forward my point. So I see you, Malcolm. I recognize the integrity that you're walking in. But you know what? I also see you, David Hogg. And you know what? The Bible says, be wise as serpents and harmless as doves. I think we got to split the difference between these two. Because if David is maneuvering and spinning this to say, hey, this is really about them not liking what I'm doing, that's a political move. That is not something that I would personally do, but this is what politicians do. This is what politics do. This is what I mean, if we can't handle that little bit of fudge with David Hogg, how y'all gonna handle what's happening with MAGA? It's like you cannot. It's a mismatch. There's an asymmetry there. We're living in a time right now where we're having to weed through layers and layers and layers of disingenuous spin, and we're gonna take up our cross and carry it on this one with David fudging the numbers on the root cause. I don't. It doesn't make logical sense. Not at a time where we're in an existential fight for our lives. Like we're in an existential fight for democracy. Like there's so many things that are quite honestly, like he said at the beginning of the clip, that are on the line, that are existential. I just don't know if I would have put any energy whatsoever in trying to correct David on the record for the public nation. For
that was a completely internal memo that should have stayed internal.
Yeah, like email your boy and say, "Hey man, why you out here lying like that?" Bro?
Yeah. That should have been internal. Hey, Ben, would you put up David Morris's comment? And then my response to all this is that here's my thing, man. David Morris. When is any of this going to help the Black American community? When is any of this going to help the white American community? When is any of this going to help Americans? Right? I wish the Democratic Party would go ahead and say out loud what Republicans went ahead and said out loud.
Come on.
I wish Democrats would just go ahead and say, we don't plan on doing nothing for your ass. We just want your votes. And we want to be in power. And as soon as we get in power, we're going to send that power to corporations across America like we were doing. We don't really have any plan. We're going to knock down anybody who thinks that they're going to get other people in here to share our power. Because the Republicans, they're pretty much just saying it out loud. Nigger.
That's exactly where we are.
That's what Republicans are doing. They're just saying it out loud. They like when Trump drops the N-bomb, rubbing Martin Luther King's bust outside the White House, because he took his bust outside the White House, outside the Oval Office.
Yes.
He probably put it in the rain somewhere. As soon as he just starts rubbing it and said, to all the niggers in America, we don't have anything good planned for you. Won't the Democratic Party just be honest? And David Morris, you're absolutely right. Every time you come here, I have the same thought. This show deserves a way bigger audience. You are absolutely right. Clickbaity Political Thirst Trap is a part of three. Well, I'm gonna tell you why. Let me tell you guys why, and I'm gonna tell you why we don't have a bigger audience. And really, because three Black men talking about progressive politics for our communities is not a popular thing. You have a YouTube algorithm that doesn't like us. You have elected officials who think that we're a little too dangerous. We have a dedicated following, by the way, Trap Squad Squirrel Gang. We still got to get y'all some swag. So I'm gonna start working on that swag thing too. We got to get y'all some swag because you guys are the real ones. But there's a lot of reasons why we don't have it, but we're gonna keep doing it, right? And understand something. Sometimes, now, trust and believe. We had to spend the last 4 years talking about Ratchet Trap, Megan Thee Stallion lying ass because she lied.
Oh no. We can't get through an episode without fighting. We ain't gonna do that tonight, brother. What she lie about? What she lie about?
Bruh.
I know the story.
She said Tory Lane shot her in the foot.
Tory Lane shot her in the foot.
No, bro. All the evidence, like literally, her
What
lawyer
evidence?
said that Tory Lanez didn't shoot her in the foot.
Her lawyer say, okay, let me look that up.
No,
Her,
like there's no DNA evidence. Like the girl security said that the girl that the dude didn't shoot her in the foot, and the brother, as soon as this evidence comes out, the brother gets stabbed up in the back of the head. They might have put a hit out on this dude.
Okay. No, hang on. No. We're gonna get
Okay,
precise.
fine.
I'm gonna be Malcolm Kenyatta precise on this one. Go ahead.
You better go ahead. You better go ahead.
I'm gonna get the evidence right here. Go ahead. Finish your thought while I get the research. Go on.
All I'm saying is very simple, right? If we had spent most of our time talking about things that weren't going to be a benefit for our community, we probably have 2 million subscribers in the live channels, because there is a certain aspect of negativity that gets elevated. And voices like these are voices that are the unheard ones, and you know, you got to think about it. People who don't know what they're talking about get a lot of credit. I don't care though, because this is not for them. This is more so therapy for me, and making sure that the proper viewpoints of very educated, smart Black men get out there. Go ahead, take a look at it though, Ben.
No, I'm looking at it now. It wasn't Megan's lawyer who said that. It was Tory Lanez's lawyer, which I expected, but I just wanted to make sure I get that. So it says,
I'm not defending the abuser, but y'all got to prove it. Like here's my thing. I don't care what nobody says. Right is right and wrong is wrong, right? If Tory Lanez did shoot that guy, like I said on this show 1 billion times, if Tory Lanez really did shoot that lady, then Tory Lanez should be in jail as long as he's supposed to be in jail. But if there's any benefit of the doubt, if there's any question to that, which there's a lot of questions right now that nobody wants to, there's a lot of questions right now, right?
What's the questions? What's the questions?
Tory Lanez DNA wasn't on the gun at all. Never found. Never ever found. Tory Lanez, look it up. Tory Lanez DNA was never found on the gun. And I'm pretty sure if I hold any one of my guns, then my DNA is going to be on the gun. Tory Lanez DNA wasn't on the gun. The brother maintained the same thing the whole time, of course, but that's what anybody would do. I'm just saying like this right here. I'm not going to automatically go, okay, you know what? Because they pointed a finger at this dude. There's been some wrongfully accused people in the past. I don't give a damn. Y'all get mad at me about that?
Here it is. The no DNA claim is misleading. Trial evidence showed inconclusive DNA results, not a definitive absence. Not a definitive absence of Lane's DNA. There's a difference between inconclusive and go ahead.
And talk about, look up the handling of the DNA. They had two different, look that up too.
See,
we're gonna go all the way through it.
No, matter of fact, I'm gonna put my source on the screen, but it don't have any audio to it. Okay, hang on. Keep going. What else? What else you saying? Because first you said and see, we're gonna handle it. We're gonna handle it. This could be an internal memo if you want to, but if you want to keep litigating on the air, I'm gonna go detail by detail. Because first you said it was Megan Thee Stallion.
Now you know what I want to do. You know what I want to do. Actually, you know what I really want to do. I want to give it some time, because I believe that I do believe that there's certain things that are about to like show up and come out, and there's no irony to me that new evidence was presented as of recently, and then all of a sudden this brother gets an assassination attempt against him.
There's a difference between quote unquote actual new evidence and the claims of his attorneys. His attorney floated out that so-called new evidence.
Hold on, wait a minute. Did you look up Megan's attorney?
Yes, Megan's attorney. Here's Megan's attorney. Here's Megan. Here it is.
The brother, right?
Let me read it to you. Here's the claim of the new evidence. Tory Lanez's representation from the Unite the People, a nonprofit organization, stated that a bodyguard named Bradley James allegedly overheard Megan Thee Stallion's former friend, Kelsey Harris, admitting to firing the gun that injured Megan. That's what you're talking about. That claim, that new evidence came from Tory Lanez's, his lawyers. Okay, present that in a court. Take that through discovery. Get people to actually testify under
oath
to that matter.
That's why I just said I'm gonna give it time.
Right, but you said that it was Megan Thee Stallion's. And this is what Megan Thee Stallion's attorney said. Alex Shapiro dismissed the new claims, stating to XXL magazine that Lanez's case was properly adjudicated through the court system, and it is not a political matter but a resolved case.
Can you share my screen?
Yep.
Can I share my screen on this?
Just hit present and then pull it
All
up,
right, hold on one
and
second.
then I can put it on the screen.
I don't have that option.
You don't see
And
present?
no, they won't. It doesn't have. Yeah, I don't have that option.
Really?
Well, yeah, I'm dead ass serious.
That's strange. What? Send me the link.
Comments, recordings.
Kelly, we went over. We just literally got done talking about David Hogg and them like 5 minutes ago for at least 20-30 minutes. We talked about it. But
Hey man, I got one more topic I think is a bit of importance to literally everything that's going on right now. Our highest executive position in the American government is bought and has been bought by either Russia, Israel, or now
Qatar.
or now we can go ahead and say Dubai. Trump and his plane. Trump accepted a $400 million gifting of a plane from Saudi Arabia. Was it Saudi Arabia?
Qatar.
Qatar, yeah. Right. And Barack probably would have said, "Hey man, y'all could probably hit me with this when I'm doing my speeches after I get up out of here." Trump took it now. The decorum of the Democratic Party and the way that they did things is now officially over with. And I'm at a place where I want to see a politically ratchet leftist be in power. I want somebody who's messy, organized, makes mistakes, cuss people out, talks noise, and says, "You haven't done shit for black people. You haven't done shit for LGBTQIA people. You haven't done shit for nobody in America. Why should I listen to you anymore?" And if Congress is not with me, then fuck you too. I'm just gonna do some executive orders, and this might be my last term. That's what I want to see now, because there's no other way that we can continue doing this. Not Mr. Nice Guy. Let me find somebody who can speak and look like Obama. That is over with, man. Trump murdered that person. Trump murdered that thought process. He ended that thought process of decorum. And I don't want to see any more politicians with so much. Jasmine Crockett is well on her way. AOC used to be there. I need a lot more politicians that's going to be willing to actually get into street fights. You know what I mean? If you're a sister, y'all know what it means to take them earrings off and go get that Vaseline.
We need some I wish Emma for wood Democrats.
Yeah, that's what we need now. And I mean, that's all I got. That's all I got for the show, man.
That's it. I mean, that's the fact. We could end there, man. We could end there. But we go talk about this Megan Thee Stallion thing next time we come around. Man. Get your facts right, bro.
No, I don't. It's not even no. It's not even no big deal to me. Like, again, I'm a fan of justice. I don't care about where it comes from. My thing is this right here. There's been entirely too many people that have been arrested for BS. And I think that if your case stands up, the case gonna stand up. I'll be wrong.
I'm keeping 100. I think there's many more who have never even been arrested for it.
That part also. You know what I mean? Like the Diddy trial, we didn't even mention that. I don't even think I'm adult enough to watch the Diddy trial. I don't think like woo.
It's next level, man. It's next level. And it's gonna be going on for a little while, man. So we can bring that back.
Who needs porn anymore? Just read the transcript. It's like a Stacey Abrams book.
And with that, ladies, gentlemen, and gender non-conforming friends, this has been another wonderful episode of the Clickbaity Political Thirst Trap.
I love you, Stacey.
Y'all keep y'all hearts and minds, thoughts and prayers out there for our boy Marcus Mayor Mondale Robinson. He is in recovery now, and so we're gonna keep him lifted up. He will be back with us as soon as he can get back on his feet. We're just glad that he survived and that he is absolutely strong enough to still be giving these devils hell on Twitter. So he might be down and in the hospital right now, but his spirit ain't down and his wisdom ain't down. So y'all send up some acorns as we get out of here. Send up some squirrels and some acorns for our boy MONDALE Robinson, and we'll see everybody next time. Take it easy, folks.
Peace. Like and subscribe.
Do that.
Trap squad, 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 trap squad. Hey, clickbaity political. Yeah, thirst trap, trap squad, squirrel squad. Our mission is critical to speak the truth to the masses. We here for the fight. We ain't started, but we here to finish it. Sick and tired of seeing the privilege. Take advantage of the weak and the innocent. So we let our voice be heard. Every single weeknight, unapologetic. Black people, despite this white supremacist system that we live through on a daily, we still throwing up those acorns cause we represent clickbaity. Trap squad, trap squad, trap squad, let me hear ya. Trap squad, trap squad, throw those squirrels up if you with it. Trap squad, trap squad, yeah I see you, yeah I see you. Trap squad, trap squad, trap squad, thirst trap, trap squad, trap squad, trap squad, let me hear ya. Trap squad, trap squad, throw those squirrels up if you with it. Trap squad, yeah I see you, yeah I see you. Trap squad.